Let's check in what's happening over with Gamergate 2, because that's exactly what we're dealing with at this point in time, because, well, it's really starting to feel like the old days now, isn't it? Now, as somebody who had no voice back in 2014, was just simply looking at it as an outside observer going, yeah, no, there's some really unethical things going on with games journalists right now, and the way that that narrative ended up getting spun, that, oh yeah, there's a disingenuous actor that's in here who's throwing around box for awards, and yeah, we should probably do something about that, and then it ended up getting spun as this big harassment campaign, and, well, we're seeing that spin happen right now. It's going from Sweet Baby Inc. didn't do nothing. They're not doing exactly what they proclaim themselves to be doing. Kind of a strange flex that they have right there. To all of a sudden going, aha, you know, this coordinated harassment campaign that's being conducted by Sweet Baby Inc. employees and games journalists. No. It's a one-way street, and it's only happening from the people that that are attacking us. See, but gaming developers, and now is reaching Valve to strike and destroy Sweet Baby Detected Group and silence them from the face of the earth. And yeah, there was this article. I responded to it a couple of different times by this Brian Francis hack. We reached out to Valve in Discord multiple times to ask how a group using their platform to target a company was within the bounds of their terms of service. No answers back. Why are Valve and Discord permitting harassment against Sweet Baby Inc.? Are you having a laugh? Because this has been going on for the better part of a month at this point in time. Sweet Baby Inc. has been a name that's been floated around since, I think they really started to pop off at around the Alan Wake 2, so around October of last year, but now in the past couple of weeks, as you guys have noticed, it's really started to pick up steam, and a lot of people are chiming in and noticing the incongruity as to what's happening right now. And, well, the only time that we see any sort of harassment, and, oh yeah, hi, it's been a second, it's a name that we seen, not that long ago, Chris Kindred, the person that decided to go against the internet and try to drag the name of the late great Curator in order to virtue signal how good they are. But okay, yeah, the Steam Curator harassment group, Sweet Baby Inc. Detected, is led by this person trying to drag the creator of the page. Here's them trying to be slick so they don't get reported. This right here seems like a call to action. If I was to use the nomenclature of that side of the aisle, that would be a dog whistle to go ahead and get somebody, reported. Oh no, report the fuck out of this group. Oh no, that's just a direct call to have people report the Sweet Baby Inc. Detected Group, is showing them the online conduct, showing them which avenues of attack that they can use in order to try to subversively get the community banned, and then also Cabrutus's account banned, which is so scummy. I don't even know where to begin on that one, but thankfully, I thought I talked about it the last time that we did this. Steam actually sided with Cabrutus, going, there's nothing that's wrong with the account, with your account, or with anybody else's actions at the detected community group. We're just receiving a disproportionate number of reports. I wonder why. From a harassment campaign, the likes of which employ, well, take a look at this, okay? And knowing that this is a much larger problem than just simply Sweet Baby Inc. In fact, I have this list right here. Here's the list of a Sweet Baby Inc.-esque consultancy companies that propagandize games as, hey man, weaponized autism on the internet, man. It's undefeated. Sweet Baby Inc. Games, Black Girl Gamers, of course, Hit Detection, Balance Patch, Silver String Media, which is kind of the precursor to Sweet Baby Inc. because they had deep links, deep connections with Anita. I just threw a wedding-themed birthday party, Sarkeesian, if that's not the most depressing thing that you're ever going to see, but then also just the logical conclusion of being a radical feminist. Hey, man, you reap exactly what you sow on that one, but that was her little think tank where a bunch of these same individuals got their start in the business of ruining the pastime that we all love. Stonemaier Games, Gamer X, of course, James Mendez Hodes. Yes, he's the guy who very famously contributed to the extra credits video about how orcs are black people. Yeah, let that one sink in for a second. A Dragon Baby, Anita Sarkeesian. Oh yeah, there it is. Weird Ghosts. Yes, Infinite Ammo, Gamma Space, and finally, Cozy Comet Games. The rot goes much deeper than we realize. Oh yes, very much so. That's not even a fully exhaustive list. That's just simply the first 14 names that come across this. Going back to Danny Landlover, really terrible individual. Non-binary games developer. She was hired by Cliffhanger Devs to create a game based on Marvel's Black Panther. She says that she doesn't hire white people because they are unsafe and it's hard to work with them, and only hires people of color. This is, all over the developer hiring in AAA, based on recent DMs I've been getting from the industry. Illegal hiring practices everywhere. Care of Grummz, who we're gonna listen to his commentary over the top of this if you've been following this saga from other people's channels, and I think I've used some of his work beforehand. He does excellent stuff. He used to be in the trenches. He worked, former team lead for OG, a World of Warcraft producer for Diablo 2, StarCraft. Like, he was working at Activision Blizzard back when it was good Activision Blizzard. And he's been detailing this stuff from toes to titties. And guess what? This Danny, I Hate White People, he actually used to work from 2021 until 2023. Used to work for, you guessed it, Sweet Baby Inc. And, well, now the normies, now the tradcons are starting to pick up on this stuff, and well, Gamergate 2 is underway. Former games executive and developer at Blizzard, Mark Kern, Grummz, or using legal names, I guess. The way games are funded, you don't use your own money. Even EA, its games are hugely expensive to make their upwards of, 250, sometimes $600 million, is certain live games that are incredibly how expensive they are. And to do that, your CFO is your best friend. So did you get an AI to go ahead and transcribe this? This is pretty pathetic, just clean up the syntax here, my guy. You're counting on your CFO to get you tax breaks and put it in your studio in regions which are financially favorable to you to borrow the cheap money. You will get the cheap money with to do. Even EA does this, worked with EA, and they're putting together a deal and making bailout money from the banks in the last financial crisis we had, and they're applying the cheap money towards games, the same thing that they did with the COOF money. They're applying the cheap money towards games, and what has been the cheapest money while interest rates were still low, and that's a couple of years ago, it was ESG financing a couple of years ago, and so they're going to take this money because the returns on investment have been so poor on Wall Street from ESG funds, the source of the revenue is drying up, and the woke machine cannot continue its way down as now for the AAA gaming. And I think, unfortunately, it is entrenched, and you're not going to see much of an ability to course correct because the studios they're just gonna shut down. And we're seeing massive layoffs right now, so shutdowns for major companies, which is not exactly something uncommon in the gaming industry. We see studios, once great studios, just close like that because, well, they start to put out dud after dud after dud, and, well, there's nothing left. There's nothing left of them. It's very important to note out the tax breaks that's right there. Well, okay, we've seen in multiple different industries, multiple different entertainment industries that, there are tax breaks, tax incentives available for some of these industries. It goes a lot deeper than that. Okay, the Sweet Baby Inc. being funded by my stupid federal Canadian government. There's a reason that I refer to myself as an Albertan first, because the Canadian government has always been stupid. Okay, DHS funded. Take This officially calls it a Gamergate 2, and it also calls it a harassment campaign. Folks, it's happening again. Oh, we'll get to that very shortly. DHS is literally going after lore developers to make sure the lore they put in video games doesn't make gamers become anti-woke radicals. Yes, as grantees, should be guarantees, that the program focused on right-wing extremism, as they define, is basically meaning agreeing with, libs of TikTok. So basic bitch conservatism, right? But here we go to get a little bit more context and a name that we just mentioned as well. So apparently one of the funding companies behind Sweet Baby Inc. was funded by Eileen Holwaka, which, if you don't know the lore about Gamergate, Alex Holwaka, there's a reason everybody points to Zoe Quinn as somebody who has more than just one type of body count under her belt. And Eileen Holwaka is that person, okay, is the sister of Alex Holwaka, who disassociated herself not from Zoe Quinn, not from the pro Gamergate side, but from her dead brother. Yeah, these are the type of scumbags that we're dealing with here. Baby Ghost, which is a subsidiary of Weird Ghosts, apparently, is a funding program for underrepresented groups of game developers in Canada. So basically, this is one ESG grift that is helping fund another ESG grift in SBI. From my initial reading, one of the founders of Baby Ghost's parent companies is none other than former Night in the Woods developer. Well, I wonder who that could be. Yeah, so you're taking tax incentives, you're taking write-offs from the federal government because you work in media, and all of the Canadian-based media who wants to toe the company line gets tax incentives. So how adorable on that one. But you could see a couple of other things that were in here as well, saying saying DHS. Like, are we talking about something abroad? No. We're talking about the United States federal government funded nonprofit Take This response to Sweet Baby Inc. backlash by calling on video games industry to clearly and unequivocally denounce Gamergate. Brother, it's going federal this time around. So who had a U.S. government funded nonprofit enters the fray around Sweet Baby Inc. on their bingo cards in response to recent discourse surrounding the work of the aforementioned narrative consultancy company Mental Health and video game-centric nonprofit organization Take This has called on both players in the industry at large to clearly and unequivocally denounce Gamergate. The 501c3 nonprofit founded in 2014. Take This describes itself as a mental health organization providing comprehensive resources, support, and consultation tailored for the unique needs of the game development community. Aw, how adorable. Far from a minor entity within the industry, a number of noted figures are counted among the company's governing board of members and officers, including Bethesda marketing VP Pete Hines. He just recently left Bethesda, I thought. Ubisoft VP of Global Diversity and Inclusion, Rasha Sika. Go figure. And PlayStation's head of Global Portfolio and Acquisitions, Christian Svensson. Yeah. It's not exactly a fringe, oh, they don't do what you say that they don't do that we say. Or fines, you gotta believe us. In terms of what ties they have to the United States government, per a public disclaimer on the various white papers, their work is funded as part of the Department of Homeland Security research project known as Disrupting Video Games Based on Radicalization Through Collaborative Cross-Sector Networks. Wow. This joint project from the Center on Terrorism, Extremism, and Counterterrorism, Take This, an anti-disinformation AI developer, logically seeks to develop a shared framework for understanding extremism in games. This is Jack Thompson's wet dream. The federal government coming in and coming after your video games. Oh no, they're not going to take your video games. They're not corrupting your games. This is a consultancy group. It's been around forever. Bunch of liars, gaslighters. Includes the development of a set of best practices and centralized resources for monitoring and evaluating of extremist activities, as well as a series of training workshops for the monitoring, detection, and prevention of extremist exploitation in gaming spaces for community managers, multiplayer designers, lore developers, mechanics designers, and trust and safety professionals. Nothing to do with the end product user. They don't actually care about the safety of the people. They just want to go ahead and make sure that the feelings of the developers, okay, that your professional subversionists, you need to make sure that they're properly taken care of. Yeah, man, now it's starting to come in a much more clear focus as to why this nonsense continues to perpetuate, because they don't have to make money. They got federal backing this time around. So this is another aspect that makes Gamergate 2 even more important than the original, because this time we might have the truth, we might have the evidence, we might have the biggest megaphone on our side. But here's the thing. Here's the thing from, other aspects of culture that I like to talk, that I enjoy talking about. Okay, here's a popular phrase that permeates those circles as well. You might think you're alpha. You might display alpha characteristics, but you can't. Big time, the federal government. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.